Okay, let's try this again. All right, looks like it's gonna get going here. Hello, everyone. If you can see me, say hello. I'm gonna get this set up on my phone to make sure I am seeing and hearing the comments. Make sure you say hello. Let me know if my audio is good. We had a little bit of a misfire on going live a minute ago. It's so specific, the buttons that are required to be pressed and in what order and on what platform, that they don't make it easy. Okay. Are required to be pressed and in what order? I'm getting on this live on my phone so I can see the comments. Hey, Jill, good to see you. Hey, Kim. Okay, perfect. You guys are popping on. Just so you know, I do keep it up on another device so I can kind of see the comments, but some of them seem to update into the thread right away. And when I go back later and look at the comments, there's always comments in there that didn't show up on my other device. So just know if I'm not saying hi to you, it's not intentional. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. And I will try to go back through and get through all the comments after the live. I'm so excited to see you guys today. You all did so well on your homework. Everyone is participating. I really love the thought of you guys having an amazing 2026 where you feel clearly guided and really connected with your soul, your own higher self's energy. I am pulling up my notes here. Every time I close or move to a different tab, it resets them all the way to the beginning again. Okay, so today in our session, I'm going to give a couple minutes. Hey, Gail, I'm going to give a couple minutes for everyone to pop on. But in our session today, we are going to really more deeply understand how your intuition will actually communicate through you personally. Because while there are some similarities, which is largely what we'll talk about, there's nuance with each of us as individuals. Think of it like how many of us might speak the same language, but we have a different inflection of our voice or a different pitch or a different tone. So too is the language of our intuition. But we're really going to just dive a little deeper, because if you don't understand how your intuition is communicating with you, you will miss the communications, or you'll think it's your imagination or your fear. So again, today is not about mastery or really performing in any way. It is just about recognition and permission and understanding that intuition requires also your participation, which we're going to talk more about how important it is for you to be actively participating with your intuition, what that looks like in real life, and what that can change in your real life. So I'm really excited to dive in. Hey, Sarah, good to see you. Sarah, do you like Sarah or Sarah Marie? I keep always forgetting to ask you that. Elaine, hello. Okay, well, lovely. And if you're watching on the replay, hello. A lot of you messaged that you couldn't make the live and you were going to be getting the replay. So we are always just as excited to see all of you on the replay. And okay, let me just start diving in, because I'm trying so hard to keep things on time these days. So I want to just give you guys your flowers and congratulate you. Many of you reached out through comments or private messaged me or in my email to share about your themes and your experiences. And lots of you are actually surprised that this tool worked for you so quickly and that you didn't have to like wait to start getting any results at all. It wasn't like radio silence in your experience, and you started getting impressions or inspirations or bits of knowings and feelings right away, which is so exciting. Hey, Shayna, good to see you. Either is fine. Okay. Hey, Tracy. So there were a handful of you that said, since some of the messages were similar, I'm just going to kind of condense them into what the theme of those messages were, that you really worked hard on this, that you journaled, that you did the homework, that you thought about what your theme could be and really like were trying to figure it out, and maybe you even felt something that you couldn't put a name on as a theme, that's okay. So the practice here is being more open to clarity as we go. Don't work harder to try to think of how to name the emotion or the theme, but instead just allow yourself to feel deeper and deeper into it. And this is where we'll keep talking about this more as we go, but this is where it's okay to use like a symbol, a representation to represent the theme that contains like all the feelings, all the emotions that you can't quite verbally express yet. But moving something into language is sometimes more of a thinking process, and it's fine to stay in the feeling of it for a while. And I do know that as we continue through these lessons, that more and more clarity will drop in or will expand from within you. So if you even felt something or sensed something or had any version of an experience, that's amazing. There are a lot of people that are so stuck in being afraid to trust themselves that they feel like they can't have any sense of intuitive experience. So if you had any emotion pop up for you or any experience, that is gold star for you. Hey, Juliet, I always love to see you. Okay, so the souls that are drawn to this group, I have to say, as I'm saying hello to all of you, you guys never cease to amaze me. And actually, with some of the responses about the homework, I was a little taken back because some of the responses were really, really powerful and really deep understandings that you were already willing to receive, which is really profound. So congratulations to those of you that got a lot of clarity or to a deeper or different layer with your own intuition than is, maybe where you typically feel yourself resonating. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Okay, I'm going to focus on my notes and dive into more of our talk, and hello to everyone who's coming in as we go. So I love that you guys are already seeing that these tools are so simple that you can connect in right away once you begin to develop an understanding and build a relationship. And remember, like we were saying, these will grow and your intuition will grow little by little, one step at a time as you continue to build this relationship with your own intuition through specific tools and methods that are simple and effective. But for months now, one of the most interesting things as this workshop, I always think divine timing. This workshop's in such perfect timing because for several months towards the end of the year, I kept getting these stirrings and intuition that so many more souls are really ready to kind of awaken, quote unquote, or start really getting clear and trusting themselves, start really cutting through the fluff and the noise and aligning with their true selves to make powerful decisions and life choices and to just not feel that fear that's being like mongered into us, that's being, feels like it's coming in from all directions, right? But how to get the most still and the most clear within yourself, no matter what is showing up in your exterior world. And so I just think it's really beautiful that you guys are already starting to have these bursts of awakened moments within yourself and seeing that you can get aligned and get clear and even start to tune to those emotions that are being shared with you and your higher self. Because we're not alone, right? Even though sometimes we feel like we're going this all alone, we are not. And we really are living through important and impactful times in our world. And that's the truth. We all live in a real world, in our real lives. We don't live in some, fantasy bubble of love and light like we all wish that we did. That's not the reality of the world that we live in. And that is why intuition is not just a passive experience. Intuition is really information plus action. And a lot of people don't talk about this action part and how we get to even trust ourselves to be able to take the aligned action. Because I do know a lot of clients and people in circles that get intuition and then they say like, oh, I just am not taking action on the inspiration or intuition or those little nudges that I receive. And obviously to bring something from our inspiration into this real 3D world that we live in, there is going to be action required. See, it's urgent. Hear this, sirens. Sorry about that. But really receiving guidance without responding to it keeps intuition in this kind of passive, watery, wishy-washy place, unclear, uncertain, and it can make it often feel inconsistent. Like sometimes when people are in this phase, I hear them say, oh, I get intuition sometimes, but I don't get intuition all the time, right? I'm trying to make sure I say hi to everyone and read the comments. Hey, everyone. I'm seeing you guys come in. I'll go back and read the comments after. But really, this is where people get stuck because fear wants you to stand still, right? Or lock yourself inside the comfort zone. And especially when, like we were talking about yesterday, the world outside is so loud and crazy, it can feel hard to make any decisions whatsoever, to make any choices that even feel remotely out of the comfort zone. And that is what fear wants us to do, is stay in this comfort zone, locked away so that we have some illusion of security or control at all times. But our soul, your soul, really wants you to expand and explore and grow and move into the most aligned, highest potential expression for you as a soul in this lifetime. We all have these qualities that our own souls want to express, and you likely already are experiencing them in shades, and your soul wants you to expand more fully into yourself, no matter what is going on in the world outside. Because if we keep waiting for ourselves to like feel absolutely certain about the answer or wait for everything in life to calm down before we take action, then we are going to be swimming in the shallow end forever and not get to experience the lives that we really want to create. And that is what this, to be honest, this is part of how I'm taking a stand, is working with the sensitive souls to bolster us and get us strong. Because I am just so over the way that everything is positioned to us to be fearful and paralyzing. So we are taking charge of 2026. So you don't have to keep struggling with the idea of like, yeah, but am I imagining it? Am I really getting guidance? Can I really trust it? Today is really about helping you understand even more deeply and more specifically how your intuition will actually communicate through you and with you personally. And to be clear, your imagination is an important part of this equation, believe it or not. Imagination is a great helper in these subtle psychic senses. And your communication with your soul and your higher self is also fostered through the faculty of the imagination. It doesn't mean that we're imagining what's happening. It means it's a filter for which those subtle senses can move through us and help move things to our awareness. And we're going to keep talking about that as we go. So we all, even if you know it or not, we all have many powerful intuitive senses, just as part of ourselves as souls having a human experience. So we all have our own sensitivities. And today is really about having more recognition, more permission, and understanding that intuition really requires participation and action. So if you are someone who has ever felt like, oh, I do get a little bit of intuition, or I do kind of know how I feel, but then I don't know what to do, or I feel stuck, or I feel afraid to take the next step. We are going to really set our GPS with our higher self for our goals for the year and our exercise later. And I'm going to start showing you how to go from kind of knowing to taking aligned action. So we're going to keep moving through this. You can tell I'm very excited about this. I love this work, and it is really powerful in our very real lives. So this is why this is so important, because we need to start integrating working with our intuition all the time. It's not something we just call on like a Santa Claus in the sky when we want a present or we want an answer or we want something magic to happen. Our intuition is not a genie in a lamp. It really is a relationship to cultivate all the time in the background of our lives, for the little things, for the medium-sized things, for the really big things in life and those hard decisions. We can easily sense it and feel it all the time, whether it's a big thing or we think it's a little thing, and not just when we are in that urgent panic space of like phone a friend. Does anyone remember that show? For like a big thing, so that when something really significant in our life does come up, or we do need to make a really pivotal choice, right? We know already how to trust our intuition. And that is part of why all of this is so important so that we really can be tuning in and aligning with our soul selves to get our own answers in this crazy world. Because you will hear me say this a million times, you do have your very own answers within you. Hey, Movia. Hey, Kay and Dara and Trina. Good to see all of you. And that is me. Okay. That's my comment at the bottom. Okay. So before we go any further, quickly, I just want to let you guys know something because several of you emailed me asking questions about working together. The doors are officially open today to the Intuitive Edge Mastermind. And I want to say this in the same energy that you'll hear me for this whole workshop. There's no pressure. There's no expectation. This is just an option. And if as you move through this workshop, you feel something like, oh, I want structure with learning this. I really want to become adept at following my intuition. I want a practice where I can be in a real container with guidance and support, or I don't want to do this alone in my head anymore, filled with self-doubt. This is the space that I built for that. So this workshop's about receiving recognition and activation, and the mastermind is where we really more deeply activate and integrate these tools in our real lives. Every month we have an activation session and an integration session, and then a community session. So it's where we build relationships with your intuition through consistency and support and real life application. This is really important to me. So if it resonates, amazing. If it doesn't, also amazing. You're still going to get so much value from the workshop this week, and I'll share the details at the end so you can stay focused right now. But I just want you to know, because some of you have been asking and messaging on the side about it, doors are open as of today. So let's move quickly into unpacking this sixth sense. Have you guys heard of that? This the sixth sense or the psychic sensing. And what I'm really curious about is, have you guys heard the clairs, like clairvoyant, clairsentient? We're going to go through them. Have you guys heard that you are one or the other, or you have like one or two, but you don't have all of them? I heard this very early on in my work, and it's a very old way that the clairs or the sixth senses used to be taught, is that you have, you know, one or two. The ones you have, you're either a clairvoyant or a clairsentient. That is not actually quite right. And I'm going to tell you all about it. But I also just really want to highlight that these subtle senses are how our intuition communicates. These are our psychic senses. This is something you have access to just as being a human in this experience. Some might feel more familiar to you than others, and we're going to practice them all later in our exercise. But first, I just want to mention that with these clairs, they can kind of be experienced in two ways. There's subjective, which is the more common way that we experience them. Okay, yes, you guys know what I'm talking about. And that's inside. So a subjective experience is when you kind of just have a subtle knowing within yourself, when you have the sound of the memory of a song in your mind. It's not when you see it outside yourself, like you see me right now, or if you're driving, maybe you don't see me, but maybe you see the road. But it's objective is when we see it outside of ourselves, like a physical, tangible chair in the room, or I'm looking around my room. And subjective is when it's more subtle, more internal. And why that is so important to know is that many of us, because our introduction to this type of subtle sensing is through the magic of media. We are often taught that there will be like an apparition that appears in your room, or a genie that comes out of this lamp. And that is not the way it works. Most of this is very subtle, very internal, and very personal and specific to us. So we are going to go through some people, yeah, everyone has all of them. So that's the good news. Get excited. Even if you don't know it, you do have all of them. So I'm going to run through what they all are just so you have an understanding. There's technically more than 6, but that's okay. Some of them are, depending on who you ask, they're kind of lumped together differently. So we'll go through the main ones that you need to know. And some people have extras that are separated out that I really feel like go under this other heading. So we're going to talk all about it. So you might have heard of clairvoyant. Most people know that one. That's the visual experience. And remember, it's often subjective, meaning mental pictures. Like if I was to tell you a story about my day, and you can imagine me, whether you've never seen my car, you can imagine me going to a car, getting in it, going to the gas station as I'm telling my story. Those mental pictures that you get are clairvoyant. And the other thing is, we don't always have to actually have a crisp mental image. Sometimes it can also, this is where these kind of intertwine together and are not separate. We might have the feeling or the sense of what something looks like. You might know something is flowery or sense that it's flowery, but in your mind, you're not seeing flowers. And we're going to talk more about this as we go. Clairsentient is that clear feeling. That's emotions. If you've ever been told or have felt like you're an empath, feeling the unspoken feelings of someone else, this is clairsentient. It's clear sensing. It can be body-based knowing. You can like physically feel a sensation in your body. That is, even though I know most of us feel like, oh, that's what I mostly experience, that's actually the lesser percentage of what you experience. So you're experiencing much more than that. You probably just haven't learned how to recognize it quite yet. And really, all of this moves through the sensing because it's subtle, because it's internal. So the way my mentor explained it, most of you know him, Andy Bing, it's really, think of these clairs on a wheel, and the wheel is the sensing, and then the spokes of the wheel are these different facets of our subtle psychic senses. So this feeling part is the part that we're doing all the time. Our auric field's out in front of us, sensing and determining. It's why sometimes you can walk into a room and know, I don't know what feels off in here, but something feels off. Or you can step into a meeting if you've been late and all of a sudden you can feel it's very tense in there. And you're thinking, what did I just walk into? That is your clairsentience. Clairaudience, you might have heard of, is the hearing, right? And this is inner hearing. It's inner thought words, inner phrases. It often feels like your own voice in there when it is the voice of your higher self, for example. It's not necessarily, it's typically not going to be in someone else's voice in your mind unless you're remembering the sound of a loved one's voice, let's just say, or remembering, oh, my mom always says, da 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 da. You might hear the memory of the sound of her voice very lightly, which is more of a sensing the memory of her voice in your mind. The wording's never exactly right for this. So that is that clairaudience, right? And just know it's not like a God voice that comes out of the sky and speaks to you and says, your intuition is da 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 da. This really is more of that internal word or phrase or song dropping into your mind. Claircognizant is sudden knowing usually without explanation. Some people call this a download. I don't love that word just because I think it gives a different connotation, but it's when you have just like an inspiration or just like a sudden knowing, like, oh, I don't know why, I just know so-and-so is going to call, or I just, and sometimes you might not even realize that you know something. I have a friend that we sometimes work together, and it's been more than one occasion that we've shown up for an event wearing like the same color or almost the same outfit, when we didn't necessarily know that we knew that, but obviously our energy knew that. Clairgustance is a taste-related sensing. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're physically tasting the taste, right? This is when, if you guys know who the Long Island medium is, if you ever hear her read, she'll say, oh, I taste blood. She's not physically tasting blood. It's a subjective, subtle, almost like the memory of the taste of blood in her mouth when she's reading for a specific way that she works. If I told you to kind of remember the feeling of chewing on a marshmallow in your mouth, and you could feel the pillowiness, and you can kind of remember that sensation of the way the mouthfeel is, that is a clairgustance. Clairsalience is an interesting one that is very subtle. This is the smell related sensing. So this is where, if you've ever gotten kind of the memory of the smell of someone's perfume and no one else in the room smells it, just you, or the memory of the way a space smells, or like for me, there was so much cigarette smoke when I was growing up as a kid that I have a strong memory of cigarette smoke on an airplane. And that is that smell related psychic sensing. This can also be if I'm telling you a story, let's just say, and I ask you to kind of remember or sense the smell of cookies baking or something like sweet and baked good baking, that is that clairsalience, that clear smell related sensing. And even with the clairs, intuition rarely shows up dramatically. These are very subtle, soft impressions in the way they come in. They're not there to override our free will or our human experience. They're just very subtle information being offered from within us. Sometimes I feel like they're coming in from the side, but it is often from within us. So don't expect it to be this big, profound external experience, but it really so often is just woven into our everyday awareness. And you remember how yesterday we were talking about the area that you're most comfortable in? You probably have been exercising these subtle senses underneath the surface the whole time. And maybe some of these you can recognize. Most people, I feel like, particularly in their day-to-day experience, would say they can recognize the clear sensing because they recognize themselves as an empath of feeling people's feelings or energy or vibes, you might say. But you do have all of them, and we're going to exercise them in just a little bit in our exercise. So get excited. And I also just want to highlight that there is a very important component to have more access to work with these clairs. So if you're someone who like really hasn't experienced these or feel like, well, I can kind of experience them sometimes, but other times I feel like I can't quite, there is this ingredient, this key, this component that helps us access these subtle senses more and more, and it is the personal development. Unprocessed fear or old patterns or emotional resistance really kind of distorts this intuitive signal. And this is why intuition improves in leaps and bounds when people do their inner work. And this ties directly to our ability to know the difference between intuition and fear, or when something is the best choice for us, or whether we should wait, or know if our intuition is communicating with us, or we need to let that fear voice override it. That is all through the personal development, and almost no one talks about it, and it makes me crazy. When our system is like overloaded or overstimulated, or there are things bubbling in us, hard emotions, and we are ignoring it, it's almost like we get our signals crossed. And because the clairsentience, the clear feeling, remember, feeling just doesn't mean, oh, I have a feeling in my body. Feeling means emotions. So when we're not working on this personal development, the feelings, the sensing can't move through us in the same way. And this is when you hear people say things like, oh, my intuition is blocked, or I just want my spirit guides to give me the answers. You have your own answers. Or I can only get intuition sometimes, not all the time. It's like spotty service. Or I do receive intuition and nudges, but I don't trust myself to follow them. Or sometimes people will say it as like, oh yeah, I have intuition about stuff, but then like I don't act on it. And then after I realize I was right. This is often tied down to personal development. And unfortunately, even though we all wish it was the genie in the lamp, intuition is not magic. There is action required from you in the world. So even though you do have your own answers, the example that comes to mind is like, I so often think about over the years, people that I've known that will go in for psychic readings. These aren't my clients. These are like people I know in my life. Because once I work with my client, they're off and I don't always know what they do with the information. But people that I know that will like, do you know anyone like this that will go in for a psychic reading? They don't know what to do. They need answers. They need guidance. They'll go in for the reading. They will receive the guidance. The practitioner will help them get some clarity, help them understand the guidance they need, and then they'll do absolutely nothing with it. And then their life is in the same place and they feel like they're not getting anywhere. Intuition is very similar. It requires engagement. And clarity strengthens when we move forward in action, right? When we take action on the guidance, our clarity continues to strengthen and strengthen step by step. And without action, intuition kind of stays in that watery theoretical place that we were talking about. And we end up feeling stuck, or we stay in fear, or we don't know how to trust ourselves enough to create the life that we truly want because we're still there holding back, waiting for more certainty. So this is why real results with these tools have always been so important to me. First, like myself, when I was learning, I used to drive my first mentor crazy because she would teach me these tools and I would say like, well, what is the real world application of this? Why do I need to connect with my higher self? Why do I need to do grounding? Why? Because I wanted to understand, how am I applying this in my real life? Because that wasn't part of what I learned initially with these tools. And now I'm really passionate about it with my students, because it's wonderful to learn all this and it is fun. But we live in a world where we need to not only receive inspiration, but be able to take aligned action to co-create the lives that we truly want. Today, I have a special guest before we do our exercise to help illustrate for you how easy and meaningful you can have this intuition in action in your life. Plus, I want you to hear this because it's one thing to understand conceptually what these tools can do for you, and it's another thing to actually live it. So this is someone who didn't become more intuitive, but they learned how to respond to what they were already receiving. Help me welcome Sarah. Sarah,
Hi.
how's it going?
Good. I'm good. Everything's good.
Will you share a little bit with the group, everyone saying hello, today about, we've worked together and you have really mastered these tools. And kind of like I was just saying, I know that you already had intuition in your life and already could sense things, but I know that a big stumbling block when I first met you is that you weren't acting on it. Will you share a little bit about that?
Yes. Gosh, I could share a lot about that. Can I talk about one of the first things though, like listening to you? I remember when I was trying to figure it out, like how to listen to my intuition and get guidance and stuff. And I was reading books and doing all the things. And then I stumbled on, I think I Googled how to learn about your intuition. And actually this little workshop popped up 5 years ago. And I was like, 5-day workshop free on Facebook? What? So anyways, here I am like 5 years later, but I signed up for your class. I learned all the tools. And okay, as far as me learning how to listen to my intuition, goodness, I'm all over the place. Okay, so for instance, like so after the pandemic, I was in a job that I did not like at all, and my little gut was like
strongly didn't like.
Yeah, I hated it. Anyways, my intuition would tell me just quit, but I was always worried, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be okay? So with all the tools and sitting in my power and, yeah, trusting my intuition, because it's not going to fail me. I quit my job and I'm fine. I'm fine. I get to do all the things, you know, I kind of want to do. And I'm not tied down by a job that kind of was very draining. It would make me sick all the time. I would get flare-ups. I have ulcerative colitis. I would get flare-ups all the time. I have not had one flare-up since I quit that job. Not one.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And it's been almost 2 years. Yay me. And then
the other interesting thing about that, from what I remember, it's been a while, which is wonderful, is that you knew that you were unhappy. It's just you were so afraid to like take the action because you were saying like, well, I don't know what's going to happen after that. And the interesting thing, without saying too much, is after you did stop fighting, it was even before you decided to leave, I think, but you just stopped fighting the feeling. It was like, okay, I accept this feeling. What else can I know? And we're doing the personal development side. Some other choices and opportunities did kind of start to bubble up that you could choose a different opportunity, which was pretty cool. And now that's why you're fine, is because other things gave you opportunities for more choices.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah. And then I wanted to share a couple weeks ago, I had a doctor's appointment. It was a new doctor, and I got kind of anxious. You know, I could feel my heart pounding out of my chest. And then I was sitting there, and my little gut was like, Tara, you know what to do. So I was able to sit and like kind of ground myself and do the work. And then I was fine after that. My heart just like calmed down. And I mean, that's like, I got my blood pressure taken and it was high. I was like, wait, let me do it again. I did the work. They did it again. And then it was fine. So it's just crazy how, you know, these tools, you learn them, they stick with you, and you can use them for anything and everything. and you can share
Yeah.
it. No,
Well, it is crazy how much we are able to, once we can do the personal development side of it, we can really integrate and then manage our own emotions and reactions like real time. I have that so much doctor anxiety too. And I always get like really upset tummy. And kind of similarly, that's one of the ways I love using the tools because it does let us step more into that like aligned driver's seat of like, okay, hold on, before this emotional carriage gets away from me and my tummy's all upset, let me make a different choice. Let me refocus. So I love that you're
yes,
still, how many days of the week would you say that you're using the tools and the intuition and all of this stuff?
every day.
Yeah,
I
that's
use it
good.
every day. Every day. I get up and I use the tools. If I'm out somewhere, I use the tools. Um, yeah, and also doing the work though, because when you do the work, that it just comes through clearer. Like it's
Yeah.
you understand it more, and it's like, oh, it's like your intuition is a statement. It's not a question. It's just go left. You know.
Right. Yeah. It is that calm, softer, clear, direct direction often.
Yeah.
The cool thing is too, like you were saying, once we're really doing the personal development side of things, it just sort of strips away the fear voices from within. And instead of like when we have an intuition, immediately fear coming, being like, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Don't make that choice. It's just more spaciousness for you to realize that if that does come up, it's like, oh, okay, that's an old opinion. I am strong, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just I think it just so over time as you practice, it just integrates right into the day to day. And then it's kind of just happening all the time. And we are just using it in a way that doesn't feel so like, oh, now I must get my intuition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy, and once you uh, get really used to using it every day, you can let go of maybe things that you used to use for crutches. Like if no, it's like if you need crystals, cool. It's like I use them all the time, but now it's like I don't really need that anymore. I'm just good.
Yeah.
I don't know even know how to
Yeah.
explain it. It's I'm grateful for you. That's all.
Oh,
Like
you're so
yeah,
sweet. Well,
yeah,
you did the work. And that's the cool thing too, is like, I don't know, especially it's been wild these last few years. It's wild right now. And I feel like just even having your own answers and knowing like, oh yeah, I can have this extra thing if I want, but actually it's the energies from within me, the alignments from within me, the true answer for me is within me. Cause you could ask 100 friends and they're gonna tell you from their own fears, usually, what is
yeah,
their opinion for you,
yeah,
instead of you just going to the source and saying like, what's the opinion for me? You know what I
yeah.
mean? You've
Hmm.
gotten so good at that. So,
Thank you.
well, thank you for being here with us today and
Thanks for having
sharing.
me.
Do you have any little last thoughts before I get this crew into their exercise?
No, they should just sign up and learn all the tools. It's very
You're so
life
fun.
changing. Life
Yeah.
changing. I am not the same person I was 5 years ago. I'm not. I'm better, and I would never say that before either. I just feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Thank
think you're
you.
pretty great. Well, thanks for being here with us
Thank
today.
you.
Lots of love in the comments for
All
you.
right.
I'm sure you'll see it.
Thank
And I
you.
will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, I just really love you guys getting to hear from other people also how these tools are really powerful in their lives. Because one thing for me to tell you when I've been in this work for so many years now, but it's another for you to hear it from people that are also practicing it in their real lives from these same foundational tools that are from the program that we're working today. And this is the piece I want to underline before we go into our experience, which we're going to get right into next. Again, intuition is not magic. It's a relationship, information plus action. And one of the reasons people feel inconsistent with their intuition is because they receive a nudge, but they don't build the muscle of responding to the little nudges as they come. And then the mind takes over and the doubts and fears get louder. And then we stop trusting what we felt in the first place, which is usually the right answer for us. We get stuck in the same place as always. And then another year goes flying by and we don't feel any closer to the life we really want, but it doesn't have to keep being this way. And that's why I'm so passionate about this Intuitive Edge Mastermind program. So if something is lighting up inside of you, I would make sure to take advantage of this opportunity if I was you. There is that fast acting bonus, remember, of the group personalized mini readings that I'm going to be doing to give everyone who signs up by Thursday. Today's Tuesday. This week is flying by. Everyone who signs up by Thursday evening will get access to those small group readings. They're going to be limited size groups, and I'm going to do a personal message for everyone in the group from your soul self and giving more guidance on your year. So I'm super excited. I haven't done a bonus like this before with these like personalized mini readings, and I'm so excited about it. So that is our little fast acting bonus for anyone who wants to sign up by Thursday. And the truth is, you really deserve to step more fully into who your soul is guiding you to become. And now that we've learned a little bit more about the subtle psychic senses and how they work through the imagination, I'm excited to get into this exercise. We are going to connect today with our higher selves in a bit of a different way than we did yesterday. And our higher self is that wise soul version of us. That is, I like to think of it live streaming through us, but only so much of our soul is expressed through our human form, and the rest of our soul is kind of outside our body. And we think of that as our higher self or our soul self. So that is the energy that is really giving us the most profound guidance and allowing us to step more fully into who we are becoming in our human personality. So this is the version of you that chose to come here in this time period for this specific expansion that you can have. And it's a soul version of you that you get to build this relationship with. And I encourage you to continue to learn how to better and better align with that energy, even past this workshop, but we're going to keep doing it here. Let's just let this exercise I'm going to explain it as we go here, but let it be easy and playful. And remember, it is intertwined with your imagination, the way that we're going to practice these clairs and these subtle senses. I'm going to tell you a little funny story about me. I don't know if I have shared this publicly before. I don't even know if I've shared this in my groups before. But when I first started learning these tools and started learning to connect with my higher self and kind of drop into that place of connection with all my psychic senses, when I first was training, the way that they explained it was you just would kind of drop into that space. And I actually started creating kind of these rooms within me. And I have, different for different purposes, but my like higher self room, I would drop into this heart space, and mine, I kind of visualized it, imagined it like the inside of a genie bottle. For those of you that are old enough to remember that old show, I Dream of Jeannie, when she would like go into her little bottle, her genie bottle. Mine looked a lot like that. There were these cozy, fluffy cushions and big couch wrapped around. It was even like circular like that. And I imagined it with like a cockpit, like a screen that would come in front. My first mentors in the initial discipline that I've trained in for psychic development, they would talk about like your screen, your psychic screen, which used to such confuse me because that sounds like a big, profound movie style thing that's going to pop out in front, but it really just is where you see your mental pictures, which is like inside, like all of us in your imagination. And so in my imagination, might have a real screen, and I made a beautiful cushy couch for my higher self. And I really had like these purple effervescent iridescent walls and really rich like pinks and oranges and cushions, and I really did it up in my mind's eye. And so this is the space I would imagine dropping down into as my container or my room to connect with my higher self. And then I would imagine just how we poured that higher self energy down. I imagined that higher self energy pouring down through me, down through my genie bottle into my heart space container, where I would have these meetings, these conversations with my higher self. I let it be super playful. I had a lot of permission from my first mentor to just have an experience and have play and fun and let what shows up and stop trying to control and micromanage and argue with every element. So I just want to offer that to you. And I was really true to how it showed up in my imagination for me. And over the years, it has looked many different ways. So just know you could change your room, you could redecorate, you could have a different room every time. Like I said, I have a different room for my guides. And this is just really going to be a different way for you to connect with your higher self. And we are going to just be able to have this connection space so that you can start having more clarity through asking these like open questions or holding open queries with your higher self. And today's experience is not going to be about like thinking of the answers. It's going to be about identifying what actually matters to you and your soul as a team. And it's important to not be mean to yourself, to not have judgment, to just have curiosity and play and let yourself have an experience. And as part of this experience, we are going to get those 2 or 3 areas of your focus for this year, like we have been talking about in the map and in the things that we're doing. So we're going to get into that experience now. And as you know, just guide me. Oh, someone, or just listen to me guide you. Kim is saying that we did a different version of this exercise years ago. And I had everyone make a room to meet your higher self. And she still goes to that same room. Amazing. Well, see if that's the room that shows up for you today, or see if a different room shows up and you can splash your decorations however you want. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be, remember, in the spirit of like true creativity and imagination, it doesn't have to, room is used very loosely. I have one space that is kind of like a weird underwater floating cave thing. So it can be celestial, it can be otherworldly, it can be a boring room, it can be whatever shows up for you or whatever you feel good about. So don't put pressure on it. Let's just see and play and have fun. Okay, let's enter into our meditative space now. So just gently start to rest your eyes closed. Good. And I had someone recently, I guess it's been a while now, but a mentor say, like, everyone just always slams their eyes closed, but we should be more gently resting our eyes closed softly. And just start to let all of your awareness come right into the center of your head, not letting it be scattered across all of the things you have done today or need to do later today, but just really putting all of that on pause, leaving all of that busyness of the world outside of you, and taking a stand, carving out this time and space for yourself right now, because connecting with your higher self is one of the most important things you could do for yourself. Good. And say hello to that physical body with every breath, just being a little more at ease, a little more comfortable, releasing or exhaling just a little deeper. Good. And you can move or adjust your body anytime, but it's nice to start comfortably. Say hello to that auric field, that personal space bubble that envelops you all around you all the time as you move through the world. And just imagine, intend, allow that personal space bubble to be just about an arm's distance on all sides of you. Cozy little container for you to just spend this little time meditating in. Good. Continue to breathe. And let's just start to fill that auric field with a beautiful, kind of a royal purple, rich and velvety, comforting, nurturing, protective. You can even think of it like a spiritual cloak of invisibility if you're a super nerd like me. Letting it wrap around you just to give you a little extra added layer of comfort and security, so we can do this exercise and you can move your awareness now. Good. And breath by breath, I just want you to start to move your awareness down into that heart space. Some people imagine taking a beautiful staircase step by step down into that heart space. Some people just can imagine moving into that space that they mean when they say, from the bottom of my heart. Some people like to imagine an elevator or floating on a feather, however you want to move your awareness, just let yourself slowly, softly slide down into that space that you would identify as the very bottom of your heart. Oh, good. There you go. And as you settle into this energetic space, start to gently allow yourself to open your awareness to become aware of some version of a room that is surrounding you, the room of your heart space. Good. Continue to breathe. And just know that you can create this any way that you want. Good. I'm going to give you just a few moments here. I'll just make light suggestions, but we're just going to take a few moments just sensing, imagining, feeling, hearing, knowing our room. Good. Is there a space that you can relax and commune with your higher self in this room? What does the texture feel like in this space, this container? Are there any psychic smells here? Good. Notice the quality of the light. Is it a bright space? Is it dimly lit? Is it more cozy, like a little den? Get a sense of any colors that are included in your space, whatever shows up for you. Even if you feel like you're making it up, it's all part of the exercise. Allow yourself to just trust this short experience. Good. Keep exhaling. And then just imagine your higher self above your physical body, starting to pour down into that heart space, into that container, some higher self energy. And as you feel or see or sense or imagine or know that higher self energy pouring down and joining you in this room, just notice, how does your higher self show up in this container? Does it come in like a gentle fog or cloud? Does it pour down in through the top like glitter or like energy? Do you sense them, that higher self of you, wanting to sit next to you or across from you? And how do you want to visualize or sense or know or experience your higher self? Do you sense them with a color, just with a vibrational resonance? Is there some version of a representation of a physical form in robes or golden draping garb? Is it a little fairy? Just take some breaths here. Just really sense, and even in your emotions, in your psychic sensing, let yourself sense the presence of your higher self in this room. It's wonderful to show up in a playful way, but just know this energy is wise and ancient and so purely you. This highest expression of you, this soul self of you, that wants you to know that if you truly knew how limitless you are as a soul, the fear would just melt away. And in just a moment, I'm going to become quiet. I'm going to give you just a few minutes to sit in this special space with your higher self. And as you continue to blend your energy with the energy of this container and with the energy of your higher self, see if you can start to sense 2 to 3 areas that your higher self wants to focus on with you in this calendar year. These could be goals, they could be desires, they could be experiences, vibrations you want to hold, areas you want to work on together. Remember, you're not choosing these, you're creating them, being inspired in conjunction, in cooperation, in partnership with your higher self, not with your busy mind. And just keep blending, allowing this to come more and more into your awareness. And I'm going to be quiet for just 3 minutes here. And then I'll bring us back. Just relax and blend deeper and notice what you notice in your sensing and feeling and imagining and wondering and curiosity. And continue to breathe. And just about another minute, but as you continue to blend, just don't force, just share this energy and know that the answer might come a little bit later today or tomorrow. But right now, in this partnership with your soul, you are receiving information that you don't need to mentally process right now. Good. And just from this space, imagine giving gratitude and love and a big heart of joy to this higher self of you. Thank them for showing up. They will always show up. And just imagine allowing that higher self to drift right back out of your focus or your awareness. And take some breaths in this beautiful room, this container that you've created. Just noticing, knowing, feeling the energy here, this energy of partnership with you and your higher self. And this space belongs entirely to you. It's private and profound and sacred. And you can come here anytime you would like and request or intend a meeting with your higher self and sit in this energy. Good. And now just gently start to allow your awareness to shift from that heart space back towards the center of your head. Just one breath at a time. You can imagine step by step just climbing a gentle staircase. You can imagine floating on a balloon or taking an elevator or just gently, gradually shifting your awareness back into the center of your head. No need to rush. It's okay to take time here. Good. And then from the space in the center of your head, just notice how your physical body feels now. Is there a different energy that you're holding? Are you more calm? Are you more at peace? Are there any other sensations or lingering knowings or whispers of inspiration? Just notice, don't need to name. Good. And with each breath, becoming a little more and more aware of present time and space. sensing or feeling the temperature of the air around you, sensing the time of day that it is in this moment. Good. And when you're ready, you can gently stretch or move. And when you feel completely ready, just gently start to blink your eyes open, coming all the way back to me. And take some breaths. Don't forget to breathe. We need to always remember to breathe. Good. And as you're coming all the way back in, just start noticing, what do you feel in your body right now? What do you feel in the energy just around you in this moment? And if what you received in this experience feels a little watery or unfinished, that is perfectly normal. Clarity tends to kind of solidify and strengthen after we step away, move our physical energy, kind of rev up our awareness again. It could even be tomorrow when you're getting ready, showering, doing some chores. So many people receive inspiration in the shower, often because of this, often on a walk or after a walk. So things can kind of drop in a little bit more as your energy settles or as your energy processes and kind of bubbles up things to your awareness that you may or may not want to formate into thought words. So, if you are the kind of person who loves having experiences like this, and then you go back into real life and your mind gets loud and you start second guessing, that doesn't mean you are wrong. It just means maybe you need a container for support and structure and repetition. And again, that is what this mastermind is all about that I'm talking about today. It's where you take this sensing and translate it into your own intuitive language and real language and apply it into real life, real decisions, real relationships, real directions. So if you feel that quiet nudge, don't miss that early bird bonus, because I've never offered it before this way, and I don't know if it'll come again. And you don't have to decide right now. So does anyone, it's okay if you don't, because remember, processing over time, does anyone kind of have their 2 or 3 goals or themes that it's not really a theme of the year, but it's like areas of focus that your soul and you in partnership are going to be working on this year? Let them bubble, let them stew. Part of your homework is to kind of tighten and clarify those 2 or 3 areas of focus for the year a little more. Sit with it overnight. I'm getting my little roadmap. We will be working the roadmap on these as we continue to go. This is the energetic theme one from yesterday. And these are the desires. So it can come in as a goal or a desire of something that you just know you want to focus on this year. It can be adjacent sounding to the theme, but this is more like something that you'll take action steps on, which we are going to get as part of this workshop. Don't you worry. And we're also going to identify any potential speed bumps and obstacles that you can watch out for. We're going to identify some key like first action steps for you to get started, some intuitive guidance. So that might also be bubbling in as part of what you're making notes about from this experience, or if you want to go back and do the experience later and sit in it again, just making notes of feelings, sensations, what came up for you. And don't be afraid to also note, oh, I felt resistance, or oh, I felt like I was doubting myself in my mind. That's important information. We don't need to judge the information. It's just information that we're collecting from our soul self and in this relationship. So I'm going to make another homework post. Remember, surprise prize. If you don't know what that is, from the homework yesterday, which was Monday, there's a homework post. You can still do it and post your homework. And then the homework post today that I'm going to make after we sign off, you can comment your homework. It's very directive, you'll see, and it's pretty largely labeled homework day 1, homework day 2. For everyone that puts the homework in day 1 and day 2, your names will go into, sometimes I have a glass bowl, maybe it'll be a box this year, but I'm going to do a prize drawing, and we call it surprise prize. I used to announce the prizes at the beginning, but then we had started just our community grew and we started having more friends from overseas in other countries. And it was really hard for me to ship the promised prize. So now I call it surprise prize. And depending if someone is out of the country of the United States, I will order it in a different way for them. If they're in the country, I will choose it and personally send it. So surprise prize. So if you want to be in the drawing for surprise prize, you can still do it from last night, from yesterday's homework. You can do it from today's homework, and I'm going to do the drawing tomorrow. So our workshop class is at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So make sure you get the homework in. I want to say try to do it an hour before that because I'm the one that has to go through and write the names on the little papers for the drawing. So I'm also going to be fine tuning our lesson plan based on the feedback that you guys give. This is how I love teaching and coaching. The tools are the tools, but I want to keep coaching you with them and teaching you and fine tuning you and expanding you with them. So if you're reporting your homework and I'm doing some commenting back and a little bit of coaching with you, or today I took some of the comments and shared the gist, just know I'm so proud of you and I think you're doing an amazing job, and I'm offering more because I want to give you the opportunity to expand even more, not because I'm criticizing you, because I know that you can go deeper, and I really want that for you and I want it for all of us. And again, for me, this is partially my act of protest. So we are going to get our own information. We are not going to be paralyzed in fear anymore. We are going to be aligned with our own decisions. So sit with these overnight, get a little more clarity on 2 or 3 areas of focus that you are going to focus on this year as goals, or I don't love the word goal, but area of focus or desires for this year, or can be a personal goal for this year. And just kind of notice any resistance, any excitement, any emotional responses. I'll make the post where you can share it. And if you're watching the replay, please know that you can still do the homework. I'm going to do the drawing Wednesday. I have some super exciting announcements tomorrow, so don't miss out. I'll be live again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let me go through a couple of these comments while you guys are still on here. If anyone has to go, I totally get it. Can you feel loved and safe to be yourself? I love that, Juliet. Peace and comfort. I love that. Calm, like in a different world. Beautiful. This is such an amazing space to spend time in too. Strong maternal presence. Smelled vanilla. My ears were ringing. My head was tingling. Wow, that's amazing. Good job. Wow, that's great work. I have a lot of fluffy blue around me. I felt like angels' wings were beside me. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I thought someone walked up to me and held my face. Oh my gosh, you guys are having amazing experiences. I'm so excited. Okay, I cannot wait for tomorrow. We're going to dive even deeper. You don't have to choose now, but tomorrow we are going to be working even deeper on this roadmap because I like a specific real world application and real world action steps because we live in the real world. Well, at least we try to, right? So big hugs, lots of love. Please don't miss this early bird bonus. Check out the information page. It is on the website now, joyfulmedium.com. You'll either see a bar at the top that says Intuitive Edge Mastermind, or it might even already be on the homepage of the website. And read all about it. See if it resonates for you. Please still come to the rest of the workshop, even if it doesn't resonate for you. Ask anyone in this group who's been here before. I love doing these workshops. Even if you don't join, you still get to have the workshop. It's not like that here. We're a safe, supportive community. Super proud of you all for showing up. I will get in these comments in the next, tonight or tomorrow morning, and share your homework. I'm so excited for you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Big hugs, lots of love. Bye for now. Keep sharing, and I'll get in there and comment with you guys. Bye. See you tomorrow.